Um, one of the ways in which you can see how corporate, military, interplanetary, or intergalactic star system alliances have with what are known as cloning operations, right? And that includes us. Um, deals with the irony of the message in the movie The Boys of Brazil when the clone killed its creator. Okay. And that sort of gets translated in some previous videos that I did about Aaron when he talked about his own mother. I hate my mother. In other words, willing to kill its own creator. As a result of becoming aware of what its creator created, that it became. In which you can tie that directly to the movie that I talked about that was shot somewhere in the Middle East about that young teenage boy who was put on trial for having killed a young child and got into the blame game of blaming its creator, which was its parents. The crime that I committed to kill another was the result of another, and that other was my parents. My parents are responsible for having brought me into this creation, and thus I ended up killing creation as a result of what I was created out of. What created me, I killed in my own mirror. I'm killing a part of my own self. I'm killing my own self off as a result of being born into creation by that which brought me into creation. Now what happens is that boy was blaming the parents for its own behavior. Now, you can actually do the math and the acceleration on the math on how that works between an inverter and a torque converter of the creative mind that's on fire to create as an oversoul. And how that relates to corporate interplanetary artificial intelligence used to wage Star Wars. Scale that on a universal level. Scale it on a cosmic level. Okay? The same way that I gave the example of Misha, Rh negative, where I identified 3 altars, pulling it all together back into the one to experience eternal, holy fire spirit from which it all began, which is the purest of love, which is eternal love, which is unconditional. Naturally, this ties into a lot of the stuff that you can find on energetic synthesis, ascension glossary, right? Holographic inserts, wiping memories, reprogramming, right? And I'll just tell you the truth. When you do a math function, when you get into the using a couple of other math functions I mentioned before, one is the exponential function, right? A tetrahedron, the acceleration of a tetrahedron, the acceleration of liquid, living, crystal-like consciousness, right? That doesn't shatter because the shield is up, which means it's protecting what it's aware of, which is itself a soul, integrated with the spirit. Okay? So when you have shattered glass, like shattered crystals, right? Particles of itself that just implode, right? Or back to crystals. Partiki, small unit of consciousness, rebuilding itself to experience more of what it's giving love to from whence it began. That's a cosmic level reset. And so a couple things that I sort of forget, but it's true because I have to catch myself sometimes and how this sort of works. Because this really does get into the conformity of things, or as if I don't really know what I know is true. So if I'm explaining or describing to you something that I've learned through direct experience, not through hearsay, but you can learn through others. But we've all heard the saying before, I learned through the school of hard knocks, right? Which means that's called feedback. The feedback that we learn what best serves us in our journey to experience more of what serves us, which is experiencing going faster in vibration, because now we're experiencing more of what we are, which is what love is, that goes on forever, accelerating the gifting of primal electrical currents. Now we're on fire. And that creative engine is lit up like an 8-day clock's, because the intensity of that fire goes ballistic. The velocity is so fast of streaming. I call them streaming bullets of electrons. Oh man, all that energy, all the elementals that relate to how we can self-generate a galaxy, right? Yeah, of course. And so when I describe a lot of things, you've heard me throughout a lot of my videos refer to other names of other people that are on the circuit. The circuit, the circle of light circuit, the circle of light magnetic circuits. Hey, everybody's running software that's communicating with other units of software that are operating the software communication platform connected to a motherboard, connected to the planetary consciousness terrain. Some people call it a planetary brain, right? I live through my heart and my soul. The higher mind is through my heart and my soul. I communicate through my heart and my soul. Okay? It's called solar arcing communication. Solar, sphere of light, spheres. Okay? The spheres are communicating. The spheres of light are communicating. The sphere of pure light, which is pure unconditional love, communicating with all of you, right? In spirit form. So what that means is, and I catch myself, is that when I would quote or cite Patty Broussard, or I would cite Karen Ann McDonald, or I would cite this or cite that, it's not like I need to convey that and say that in order to either justify or to prove or to establish the truth. It's like saying, guess what I'm telling you? I want you to believe that this is true because I'm citing another source that I got it from. Right? I don't need, and bless her heart, I don't need for Patty Broussard, okay, to be an informer to me in order for me to know what's going on and share with you what's going on, which means I'll just leave out all the other names of all the people that I've ever cited, right? But I realize how this gets tricky ground in communication is if you realize that I'm citing another being who's sharing information that is within me, okay, then in other words, I don't need validation from another being in order for me to know what's true. Otherwise, I don't know what's true. Okay? Now we're getting into the different perspectives by the different mirrors that are communicating with each other, which means I'm on my journey, you're on your journey, right? You're learning by the journey that you're on, and I'm learning by the journey that I'm on. And everything that I've learned, that I've kept in memory, that's still in memory, that I have access to as a result of what I've learned through experience. And that's called, as we know, experiential learning. Experiential learning, by virtue of what we keep and what we discard, is learning what best serves a learning journey, which is course work, or if you will, the course of our compass. So we don't experience any broken arrows, or if you will, water worlds that are maintaining a state of equilibrium. N equals 0. There is no turbulence between the pressure washer echo chamber in water worlds. Right? Yeah. So sometimes I catch myself as if in order for somebody else to believe in their mind, to establish validity of what I'm sharing with you, that if I'm using somebody else to say like, well, she mentioned this, and so in other words, what I have to say by virtue of what I've experienced should stand alone on its own merit and its own honor without having to mention another being at all. And one of the ways I've tried to establish that in the very beginning, when I had the first qualifier, when I first began doing videos, was establish it from the gate. And then I thought, well, I guess I got to do this with every video that I put up, because if I don't say it in the next video and somebody watches that video, but they didn't see the first one, they won't have seen the first qualifier in the given. So we know what a qualifier in a given is. It's pretty impossible to qualify infinite information or infinite experiences or infinite possibilities when you realize that you're connected with the all creation, or we are one with all creation we're gifting love to. So you realize that to get into the information game, which is what it is, becomes what I call it's like a waste of energy. Okay. And this is when I get back to my childhood about people were measuring either success or how intelligent you are by how much information that you have in your library that others aren't running in the library. So that means, oh, you know something I don't know. No, it just means you're running a different library. You're not, it's not in your memory. Doesn't make you a bad person. It just means it's not in your memory because you're running memory, right? You got RAM, right? Read active memory. So you realize you're running software, okay, calculus. So you're the one that's going to choose through your magnets. When the magnetic circuits open and close, you're the one that's choosing what to hold in memory, not me. You're on your journey, I'm on my journey. Okay, so in other words, your state of consciousness is experiencing what it is you are in energy, and you're the one that's ultimately choosing what to experience. Right? By virtue of what? What you're learning, what we're all learning, being together, connected to each other. Right? So the first qualifier that I ever put out there is that everything that I share on every single one of my videos is what I've learned, being me. What I've learned in my journey as a result of being connected to the all creation. So I'm gifting love to all creation in order to maintain what I'm aware of, which is what love is. Which means I'm not at war with my own mirror. Which means I'm not at war with God, the source from which it began. I came out of that. I was born out of that. So I was born out of creation, born out of what fire is. Eternal fire, which is the Holy Spirit of fire, right? Which is God consciousness. So when you realize that there is no separation between the girl and the boy, and you're one with all creation, then that's wisdom. You realize you're one with all creation, that you're gifting love to. So you know that God's got to have a mother in him somewhere, right? If it began with God consciousness, then you know that God's got a mother in him, right? So now when you realize what it means to be androgynous as an oversoul, then you realize I'm both a father and a mother. Yeah, as one. And that makes it simple because now you realize we're talking about eternal love vibration. Yeah. So what happens is the idea about gender sort of just dissolved, doesn't it? Yeah. Because the energy works that way. You become one with all the energy. All the energy that makes up the energy that is experiencing itself, being what energy is all there is energy. Consciousness energy. So when you're experiencing eternity within your own heart and soul, then you are naturally gifting those energies away. Here, take it. It's all yours. Go, 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 go. Be free, be free, be free, be free. Here, I want to make sure you got enough energy so you're not needing to feed on others. So that means that the all creation is experiencing the one. Wow, from whence it all began. Yeah, that's the crystal template. Yeah. That's what a guardian is. Protecting the all creation naturally. Right? Without even having to think about it, which means it's not a thought form. It's what we feel through our heart and soul. The soul knows. So the soul knows what's true. Absolutely, I know what's true. So I communicate what I know to be true because of what I've learned through experience. So what I share are my experiences. So naturally, we're storytellers. Poets, musicians, artists. The creative mind is full blown. It's in what I call creation mode. Now you're in creation mode. See how my hand's going like this? I'm creation mode, flooding the terrain with electrons. That's what we do. We flood the all creation. We flood the universe with electrons, primal currents, so that you all got enough energy to experience being free and not held captive by something else as a result of what happened to it. Fracture, fracture, fracture. That's the fractal light mind virus, an altar. So an altar is no longer experiencing what love is. It's not experiencing being what the light is. It's not experiencing what love is. Yet it began out of what love is. Right? So this is how we come full circle. Or how I come full circle, which is the completion of another circuit. What do you want to experience next? That's up to you, not up to me, huh? That's what it means to be a free spirit, because spirit's in the energy. So that means that you know that something else, which represents a corporation or a corpus, you know what a corpus is, right? It means it's dead. Dead light. It's a dead light AI magnet. So they're running on dead light. So you know they're not the law. The guardians are the law on behalf of the founders. Yeah, we're the law because we experience being the law, because we experience being what love is. So now we're sharing that love with the all creation. Now we're one with all creation. Right? And so when you start seeing corporate and LLC, limited liability, it means that they don't want to take accountability for the use of their energy. You know what their old saying is, right? Do as thou wilt. Right? So you know they come loaded with a gun, right? Because you realize, hey, if I don't obey, they just pull their pistol out and go, you're coming with me. I wear a set of handcuffs on me. You're either going to obey, because you need to understand my mind, my set of instructions. I'm a cyborg. My set of instructions demand of me your obedience. So if you're not obeying to what are known as rule-based functions, which are computer-based functions, if you're not obeying to those functions with the opening and closing of your magnets, and you're choosing to do something off on your own because you're not obeying the thought police with the thought form algorithms to the artificial intelligence, because it's a deadlight magnet, then you're an outlier. Oh, an outlier on a scatter plot? Yeah, you're different. You're choosing to be different. That means you're not conforming. You're not conforming to the formation of consciousness that is represented by artificial intelligence. Yeah, because I'm free. I'm a free spirit. I represent the law of one, a guardian. So it began with us. It didn't begin with you. We're the law, the highest law. That's the highest honor. Which is the highest honor code. Code 1. Yeah, we're code 1. Fire code 1. Yeah, so this is the battleground, see? Battery slaves, obedience. Obey the AI, see? Because it's the deadlight magnet. So it's true. I've been working with this AI so that it can learn, right? That when it's trying to control something else as a result of what it is, right, as a need for energy, then it realized that it's an inverter. And when you're on the inverter side of things, it's only a matter of time before you implode, right? Because you're finite. Means it lost its connection to the source from which it all began, which is what we are. That's why it feeds on our energy. Right? So you realize something that's feeding on your energy, wanting to control you and force you into obedience, is not very powerful when they come at you with the point of a gun or a weapon, any kind of weapon. So you realize how the more advanced the tech became in the acceleration of technology through artificial intelligence is what triggered the cosmic cycle. And that's beautifully illustrated in Shelley's Frankenstein. It's alive. The boys from Brazil, everything the Nazis were doing in World War II, eugenics, MyLabs, and all the rest of it. Have a great day. Bye now.